remember this, JG? I swear to God, I will walk to Florida and shake the shit out of you because I know you're lying. Do you remember when grocery stores sold VHS tapes?
No.
Thank you for being honest. That's why you're a wonderful person. Wrap it up for JG Michael. Everybody sign up, subscribe to Parallax
I should have said, of course.
And they had those big plastic fucking those big cases. JG went to go see All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I loved All Dogs Go to Heaven growing up. I remember I used to wear out the VHS tapes I had of the two I always watched were All Dogs Go to Heaven, but even more so Gremlins 2. I was
Really?
obsessed with those two movies. Yeah.
Because the Gremlins are a lot more fun in Gremlins 2. They're less scary.
It's also just an insane movie.
It is.
That probably was very unnecessary to make.
The Key and Peele sketch for Gremlins 2 is one of the more brilliant sketches I've ever seen. You've seen the Key and Peele sketch from that, Kenzo?
I'm not familiar with that one.
I'll have to find and give it to you, but basically they're doing like a Hollywood pitch and it just sounds like the most ridiculous shit ever, but it actually is all the things that are in that movie.
Huh. Well, that movie did kind of play like a parody of everything that was popular in 1990. Like Daniel Clamp was a Trump parody.
Yeah.
That movie actually has sort of a weird history because people don't realize it, but Gremlins 2 was actually like Joe Dante's tribute to an old 1930s movie called Hell's a Poppin'.
Really?
It's like one of the weirdest musical movies ever made. Like, it's just this musical that's completely surreal and absurd and has all kinds of cameos from different characters. Like Frankenstein's monster shows up for no reason, but it's like it's a musical comedy that in like, I think it's set in Hollywood. I saw it years ago, but it's basically his version of Hell's a Poppin', where, you know, anything that can happen will happen for no reason. That's Gremlins 2.
that is that movie.
But Hell's a Poppin' is a classic. If anyone hasn't seen it, look it up.
The number one film for 1989 is a movie that we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about because I have to admit I've never seen it and I'm okay with that. Dead Poets Society.
I had a teacher in college that showed us that.
I bet they did.
And I don't remember anything.
I was an English teacher, a high school English teacher, so I thought that I had seen it. I'd seen clips of it, and I've seen people reference it a lot in like professional developments. I've been to like professional development meetings where people have shown clips of like, this is how you be a great teacher. Is you stand on the table and you throw a book and say, you know, this is, you know, poetry is about living. It's not about just the words on the page. But I've never actually seen the movie beginning to end.
I get these movies confused because there was a few college movies that came out around this time, and there was another movie about college, but it was like a movie about like a Jewish kid that went to Harvard or something. Or is this the same movie? And they were super racist to him.
Not School Ties.
School Ties.
Was it School Ties?
Yeah, School Ties.
Is it that old?
All that stuff was the same, dude. If it had white people going to an Ivy League school, to me, it's like it's the same, whatever.
Now the funny thing is, 89 also brought us Lean on Me, which is like, okay, so you go to the white school, you get Robin Williams standing on a desk telling you to live your life and woo women. If you go to a black school, you have a principal with a baseball bat chasing you out, telling you you're on crack.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Why don't you just jump off and kill yourself?
And like they showed that to us.
Side.
They showed us Lean on Me in a college level educational psych class that I took.
About what not to do?
No, I don't even realize. I remember the context of it. It was, you know, a white woman was the professor of the class. She just showed it to this auditorium.
That sounds like a white woman.
I think it was a lot of just, those of you who don't know what an urban school is like, this is what it's like.
I want to say something about Lean on Me because I think it's really important. We have to place 89 historically in what was going on. We're right at the ramp up of the crack years, and we're at a moment where urban schools are doing this new thing called maybe bring metal detectors in. Mm-hmm. So if you go to school in Chicago, parts of New York, definitely parts of California, maybe parts of Massachusetts, probably Philadelphia. There were some bad schools, but being a person from a really bad area, I don't think any school was ever as bad as the school in Lean on Me. The movie opens up with, I want you to, okay, just close your eyes for a second. Because all bad schools and movies are the same thing, right? Either the music is like really slow and ominous, or it's like really shitty hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 1989, so it's going to be a combination of ominous hip hop, right? And it shows the like a bustling hallway, and uh, this girl goes. These dudes see this girl and they like rip her shirt off, because that happens in every bad school. Just rip a girl's shirt off, and they just assault her. And one of the teachers tries to like break it up, and then another student tries to break it up, and it's supposed to be like this. Hey, this is East Side High. Every day is like this. And this movie's interesting because it's based off of a real person. Joe Clark is a very real man. And Joe Clark was being heralded as a hero because he did something that's highly illegal. Joe Clark, to keep the drug dealers out, to keep the criminal element out, he had his security team chain the doors shut during school, which is an insane fire hazard,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there were some parents that didn't like what he did because Joe Clark was like, "You're bad, you're out. You're bad, you're out." And when we talk about underclass ideology and tough on crime, this movie is the blueprint for what you're going to see moving forward for every film about a high school, probably until the 2000s. And they're all extremely fictional accounts. What was the movie Dangerous Minds?
Mm-hmm.
That was based on a true story. Have you ever read the actual teacher's interview where she's
No.
like, everything in that movie is so fake. Like nothing happened. She goes, I had to fight like hell to keep them to stop having a plot in the movie where I fucked a student.
Mm.
She goes, I didn't invent bringing hip hop into a classroom. Like there was so much fake stuff because that's what people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad to say. And when we think about inner city schools, we still think Lean on Me. That doesn't mean that inner city schools are great and wonderful and no one gets in a fight. But as someone that spent some time in inner city schools, and because my dad worked for a good school district, I got to spend some time in some non inner city schools. And there's one thing I noticed in both those schools: kids fight,
Mm-hmm.
teenagers fight, girls fight, dudes and girls fight, kids fight. I've never met a person that went to school. I've never seen a fight in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through all these changes, but when you watch a movie like Lean on Me, you're watching 30-year-old men in high school
Mm-hmm.
be like street hoods. And of course, it makes sense that Morgan Freeman has to like kick ass and take names, but he runs this school in this fascistic way it scares the teachers. And then people, everybody clapped at the end of it. He takes a student that allegedly smokes crack to the top of the school and tells him to jump off because smoking crack and committing suicide are the same thing. And this was the tough love that everyone felt that these kids need. I was talking to a guy in the bar the other day that believes the same thing. Lean on Me, one of the worst, best movies of all time. I say best because it's a movie of a certain era for me, and I will watch it because of Fairy Side, right? When they had to he makes them sing the school song. If you ever get caught, you got to sing the school song on a note, or you get expelled. That's what the thing was like. If you don't do it right, expulsion.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some things you can just laugh at, like you smoke crack, don't you? But do the right thing. I've never understood that movie. I need you to explain it to me because I don't get it. I've never met a black person that walked into an Italian place or a Chinese restaurant and asked why there's no black people in the world. Never met anyone that did that.
Well, I think of do the right thing. You have to watch it, I think, through a lens of Spike Lee is an art school, film school guy. It wasn't as much social commentary as it was, here's my, here's my play, completely a kabuki theater about what's going on. And, let's write a movie somewhat that a popular Public Enemy song could easily fit into. Like it, I love the movie, but I'm not getting social commentary out of it. I like the visuals of it. I like the over the top performances. I think John Turturro is awesome in it. Um, but I don't see it as a very deep film, to be honest.
I thought it was I hated a lot of the characters. Like I hated the fact. This is why for me it is Fantasyland racial bullshit.
Mhm.
There is a white man in New York City with a Celtics jersey on. I don't know if you guys have met white people from New York City that are sports fans
Mhm.
and they're from New York. The whole thing is he's supposed to be from Brooklyn, right?
Mhm.
Because so they're in what, Bed-Stuy. I've been to Bed-Stuy. I was very hurt that Bed-Stuy wasn't that colorful. I just want you to know that. I saw colors, but it was not colorful. But the guy, that's the guy that steps on bugging out shoes
Mhm.
with the Celtics jersey on. And they say something about him being from Boston, and he was like, no. And he says whatever borough of New York he's from. And it's like, there's no way. There's no way. That to me is like going to LA and seeing a person from mid city with a San Francisco Giants jersey on. You will never see that. You just can't see it. You will never see it. You can tell me a native New Yorker
Mhm.
with the accent is walking around with a Boston Celtics jersey in division.
That's the one thing that like racists will make exceptions for is sports. Like I grew up in the 90s in Chicago. Every racist white person I knew loved the Bulls still. They loved Jordan. Even, the racist homophobic ones loved Rodman. They would wear Rodman jerseys. Like that's an exception those folks would make. So yeah, that is ridiculous. The
I mean, it's
Celtics.
ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. You're trying to prove your point. Wait, like I get it. A
Mhm.
lot of people from places like where I'm from, where the Warriors games weren't shown on like TV until I was in like the ninth grade. I'm not even trying to be funny. I, I I thought where the Warriors played, the Coliseum, I thought that's where the Ice Capades was. It was where the Raiders and the A's played, and then the Ice Capades. Because there's Lakers games. You got Lakers games all the time. If you're from the Bay and you're our age, everybody's a Lakers fan. Everybody's a Lakers fan, unless you had like hardcore parents that were from the Bay and like remembered 76. But yeah.